Welcome to Ask Katrina. This is a really unique question. I think maybe once you heard last week's vlog, you asked this question because this question is this: how do I move past the constant need of feeling like I've got to know it all before I can move forward or do anything else? Right? So last week, if you checked out last week's vlog, we talked about the fact that we feel like we've got to have things just perfect before we can do something. And this is sort of the same theory. It's the I've got to know it all. I've got to understand every piece. I can't make a decision until I have enough of the facts. And we convince ourselves of certain things. Let me be abundantly clear. You probably have enough information to make the decision. I mean, that's just the reality. And the reason why I can confidently say that is if you're a newly promoted executive or just a current executive in general, we both know that it takes women on average 10 years to get to where you are now. In 10 years, you've seen a lot of things. You've experienced a lot of things in life. And you've created very sound judgment. And so what we have to realize is that the best leaders don't know it all. I don't know it all. I'm never going to know it all. I'm okay with that. I'm at peace with not knowing it all. Because there are a couple things that I've figured out. The first thing is that I don't need to know it all. I just need to know enough. Okay. And the way that I know enough is that I know that I have seen patterns. Okay. I can identify patterns. I know that when certain things start to happen, that's a pattern. And therefore I know how to step in and resolve and stop and break that pattern. You can identify patterns too. If you're a parent, you can identify a pattern very quickly. You can watch your child start to get wound up and they're so close. And all of a sudden they break and they're crying and it's your toddler and you're like, okay, I saw this coming. You did, because your toddler has a pattern of behavior before he or she starts to lose their minds because they haven't had a nap, right? We know that pattern. No one asks, what's the pattern for your child? It's not a discussion that you have, but you just know it. The reason why you think you need to have all the information is because you aren't trusting yourself that you can identify the patterns, because it's a subconscious thing. But pattern recognition is what we do all the time as human beings. It's very clear, right? We know that when a light is green, depending on what country you're in, right? What color is it going to be next? Well, if you're in the United States, it's going to be yellow. We just know that it's going to go from green to yellow. It's not going to go from green to red. We know the pattern. We've been trained. There are patterns throughout the world. You know a significantly large number of patterns. That's what makes you really good at what you do. But you know them subconsciously. What you need to do in this moment is recognize that you have very good judgment. And the reason that you do is because you're very good at identifying patterns and then stepping in and solving problems or creating opportunity around patterns, right? Especially as an executive, you create opportunity. So give yourself that, recognize that in this moment. The other thing, and the other reason why I'm absolutely okay with not knowing everything, is because I don't need to know how to do a lot of things. I just need to know who does. And as an executive, that's the same thing with you, right? You're not a doer anymore. You're a thought leader. And so you just simply need to know who you can call on. That's why people, right, and relationships are your commodity as an executive. So if you're waiting as a newly promoted leader until you feel like you know it all before you're going to go and start adding value, you will be eliminated from your role. That's part of the reason there are a lot of new executives that don't make it, especially women, because they think, well, I just don't know this. And so what if I say something stupid? Okay. I'm sure you said something stupid before in the past. I know I have. I'm still here. You're still here. We're okay. We're going to be fine. But it's one of the habits that happens most commonly to women that halts our career, is that we're like, oh, I got to know it. I'm going to be put on this project. Crap, they put me on this project. I didn't want it. And I didn't want it because I don't know it all. Okay, well, let me go do all the research before I get us started. No, can't. You know the patterns. You know the who. Get started. Don't hold yourself back. Use your relationships. Use your pattern recognition. Use your judgment. Use all of the tools and resources that you already have at your disposal. Don't wait. You can never know it all. And if you think you're going to, or you think you're going to wait until you know enough, your opportunity is going to pass you by. Can't do it. Go take action.